Good evening, friends. Welcome to second lecture of control system. Yesterday we have seen basics of control system. Today we are going to learn about open loop system and closed loop control system. Before going to explain about these topics, once again let me introduce about myself. My name is Vishnu. Control system and power system I am teaching since 10 years. I trained more than 50,000 students across the country. Please subscribe to my channel. Please share it and also like it. If any things I need to improve, please comment in the comment section so that we can improve. It will be best for us, and also I will give more quality while explaining online classes. Okay. Now let's come to open loop control system and closed loop control system along with transfer function today. This is basics of control system lecture 2. I need to change the color of the pen so that it will be more clear to you. Okay. Now today we are going to discuss basics once again, but this is lecture 2. Let's start about open loop control system. Yesterday only we discussed in open loop control system we have reference input mathematically represented by R of t. This is controller which controls the system behavior in order to get desired output. Desired output or controlled output mathematically represented by C of t. Dear friends, here there is no relation or connection between desired output to reference input in case of open loop system. As it is, there is no connection between desired output to reference input. We can say it is non-feedback control system. Feedback, another name sensor. That is very simple. As there is no sensor, it is a non-feedback system. That is the reason why it is also called as open loop control system, are also called as manual control system, because it is controlling manually as there is no sensor. Now let us take simple example as a fan in our home as a open loop control system. Input to the fan is electrical energy and the controller in the fan is regulator. Regulator is going to give command signal to the fan so that output of the fan is mechanical energy, which is speed. There is no connection or there is no sensor from fan to the switchboard in our home if you observe. That means this is comes under open loop system. Dear friends, in open loop control system, control action, that is regulator action, is completely independent on output, because as there is no sensor to sense and control the output, therefore the output is controlled here manually but not automatically. That is the reason why this system is called manual control system. Second thing, in this case, as there is no feedback, there is no error detector here. What is error detector? We will see in case of closed loop control system. But the system is very simple system to design. Maintenance of the system also very easy, and the system is most economical. When output is difficult to calibrate or difficult to measure, at the time the consumers are moving to purchase the open loop system instead of closed loop system. Let's take traffic control in the India to explain about open loop control system. Let us assume this is one of the traffic junction. There are four paths at this junction. Let us assume the traffic police is preset the time, let's say for 60 seconds. Here also 60 seconds. Here also 60 seconds. Here also 60 seconds. When vehicles are coming from this side, Let assume more number of vehicles are present at this site. All those vehicles are unable to cross the junction within 60 seconds time. Let's say 50% vehicles are cross the junction. Remaining 50% vehicles are wait for one more signal. One more signal will take 60 plus 60 plus 60, 180 seconds. By 180 seconds, number of vehicles joining here also increases along with previous vehicles. Therefore, this side traffic is creating much problem. Let assume here only few number of vehicles are present within 30 seconds, means half of the time in the preset time, that say 30 seconds all vehicles are crossing the junction. Remaining 30 seconds waste of time even though signal is green. So here time is wasting because of not more vehicles. Here we required more time because more number of vehicles are ready to there to cross the junction. Here it is we required to set more time, but here time is wasting. Therefore, in open loop control system, as there is no sensor at this junction, accuracy of this system is less. But yesterday we discussed if you want to design any good control system, we require more accuracy. But in open loop control system, as there is no sensor, accuracy is less. This is disadvantage. Let's come to error detector also not present. That is nothing but comparator. Already we discussed in the case of fan. This is the error detector. It is not there here. This is one more disadvantage. But the system is very simple to design. Maintenance is very easy. See, most of the people is required open loop system because of less maintenance. Therefore, it is economical. And sensitivity of open loop system also more because of no sensor. Speed of the system is less because of no sensor. Bandwidth of the open loop system is also less because of no sensor. Oscillations are more because of no sensor. Noise also more because of no sensor. But only one discussion is pending, that is stability. Now we will see open loop system is more stable or not. Generally, without under any disturbances, compared to closed loop control system, open loop control systems are more stable systems. Therefore, only in the view of stability, it is giving better results compared to closed loop systems. But remaining all the results are negative compared to closed loop control system. Therefore, we need to go for closed loop control system because open loop system does not satisfy many of our desirable requirements. Now one more point, why people are more interested still in open loop control system is it is very simple to design the system. It is maintenance is less and it is user friendly and also economical. When output is difficult to measure at the time, open loop systems are more better compared to closed loop system. Reliability of open loop system also less compared to closed loop system, but only in point of view, in point of stability, it will give best result compared to closed loop system. Now let us move to closed loop control system. I will take in closed loop control system example as speed control of a car. Let assume I am coming to class. In order to reach the classroom before the scheduled time, I need to maintain, let's say, 40 km per hour from my home to reach the classroom. This is my reference speed, also treated as reference input to the system. Now, a error detector is required to check always this. That error detector is my mind, or else we can also call it as brain. It will give error signal. Now I am control the speed of a car. It will give error signal for like my leg muscles. Leg muscles will give control signal either for brake or accelerator of a system. System is nothing but car. So that I can maintain desired speed, that I have to check through the sensor. The sensor in a system is speedometer because I need to control the speed. This is sensor, also called as feedback. Speedometer always I am observing with the help of my brain or my mind. This is negative feedback. Why control systems are designed with more negative feedback compared to positive feedback? That also we will discuss. Now this is the closed loop control system block diagram. Now dear friends, I started from my home to reach the class with 40 km per hour. This is act as a reference input to the system. Now in the speedometer I observed car is moving with 30 km per hour, which means the output of the car is 30 km per hour. Whatever car is moving, that is output of the car, that is immediately observed in speedometer. The speedometer is compared the output with reference input. Reference input is 40 km per hour and output is 30 km per hour. This is going to be compared with reference input with the help of my brain, so that an error signal is created here which is 10 km per hour. Immediately my leg muscles will activate in the car. When leg muscles are activated in the car, it will give control signal to the accelerator. Suppose right now if I give control signal to brake, the speed of the car further reduces. I cannot reach the classroom by on time. You may feel irritated. Therefore, in order to improve the speed of the car, I need to apply control signal on accelerator, which will boost the speed of the car or which will improve the speed of the car so that I can get desired speed, let's say 40 km per hour. In this way, all the actions are happening automatically because of sensor. This sensor, speedometer is also called sensor or feedback. Suppose, let's say I am driving a car with 80 km per hour. Immediately observed in the speedometer. I compared with reference speed. What is the reference speed? 40 km per hour. With my brain, I checked. It is 40, this is 80. Error signal is minus 40, which means I am under more speed, which is 40 km per hour. Immediately my leg muscles will activate, which give control signal to the brake. Right now I need to apply the brake, otherwise my ticket will be confirmed. So whenever I apply brake, definitely speed of the car reduces, which I can reach to my reference speed, which is 40 km per hour. That I can check through speedometer. In this way, somebody or me or you, anybody will control speed in a car. It is happening automatically because of feedback. Now, if you observe here, due to feedback, accuracy of the system increases, and because of this error detector, that is the reason why when feedback is there, error detector is compulsory. Error detector in this system is my mind or brain. Second thing, it is difficult to design. This is disadvantage, but difficult to design. Maintenance also difficult. It is more costly. When speedometer is not working properly, stability of a system may reduced. This is disadvantage. If speedometer is working properly, stability increases. But speedometer is not working properly, stability may reduce. That is the reason why stability of a closed loop control system is always less compared to open loop control system, provided system is under not disturbances. Sensitivity also less because of feedback. Noise in the system also less because of feedback. Oscillations in the system also less because of feedback. And overall gain in the system is reduced because of feedback, that we will discuss in case of feedback. When gain is reduced, in control system there is a relation bandwidth into gain equal to constant, that is product of these two will be constant. When gain reduces, in order to maintain product as constant, bandwidth increases. Therefore, closed loop control system also have large bandwidth. Now accuracy is more, speed of the system is more, bandwidth is large, sensitivity is less, oscillations are less, noise also less, but only one problem is there, that is stability problem. That is the reason why we need to design closed loop control system because it is satisfying most of our requirements, but only one problem is there, that is a stability problem. Therefore, any person in these days are interested to design closed loop control system because more accurate results are coming. But while designing closed loop control system, you need to take more care because stability is the major problem. Once he will take more care, he can improve the stability of a closed loop control system. That is the reason why in control system we are studying more about stability, 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 because when we are designing closed loop control system, stability is a problem. That's why many scientists worked on the stability. The first two persons are Routh and Hurwitz. He explained stability criteria. Second, Dr. Evans, he explained root locus concept. And third, W.H. Bode is also explained Bode plot concept to explain stability. Nyquist is explained polar and Nyquist plot to explain stability. M and N circles also explained about stability. Right? These are all the topics are there only to explain stability in a control system. Now, why open loop systems are more stable compared to closed loop system? Let me explain. Suppose, let's take, this is the road. By the side of the road, our building is there. In this building, control system class is going on, right? Assuming that there is no disturbance in the road, one boy, one girl is coming to reach this building to listen the control system class. Let's say the boy is blind person. It is only assumption. Under assumption, I am discussing. And girl is normal person. Girl can see anything, but boy cannot see anything. Both are maintaining same speed. Both are maintaining same speed. As boy does not have eyes, that means even though he have eyes, he is unable to see. That means he is a blind person. Means he does not have sensor, which is comes under open loop system. Girl is closed loop system. Why? Because she is able to see anything easily. Both are under same speed. Both are under without any disturbances. Whenever there is no disturbance, the boy and girl both are reaching towards this building. The boy cannot observe anything without any disturbance. He can come to the class and is listening control system very clearly or very nicely. Whenever the girl come towards to the classroom, she can observe this side and that side. There is a time wasting because of his sensor and she is not taking proper care. Therefore, stability of this girl is less comparatively to open loop system. I can say closed loop system is stable, but that is less stable compared to this blind person, right? And the open loop system is more stable. Suppose under any disturbances, both are struggling. Therefore, when we discuss for stability, we are going for ideal condition, that is under without any disturbances. Open loop systems are always more stable compared to closed loop system stability. Therefore, wherever open loop system appears in a control system, that is already stable system. There is no discussion about stability in case of open loop. Only we need to discuss stability of a closed loop control system. Now, we can explain one more example, that is direction control of a car. Previously we have spin speed control of a car. Right now I am explaining direction control of a car. Input is taken as certain reference direction. Let's say our institute is in east direction. I have to move in east direction. That will be the that will be the reference direction. Obviously that act as a reference input to the system. Once again, error detector is required. That error detector is either my mind or brain. It will give error signal. Right now, I need to control the direction of a car. That is possible only through hand muscles, but not leg muscle. Leg muscles are controlling speed of a car, but hand muscles will control steering. That hand muscles will give control signal to the steering of a car so that the car move in desired direction. The car can move in desired direction. that is observed through feedback path either by my eyes. Suppose if there is no driver in the car, like a Japanese system, or Tesla is invented a car without any driver, at the time the feedback will be path detected. This is the feedback. Suppose if I'm moving other than east direction, my output is deviates that immediately observed through my eyes, which is called sensor, and I compared with input that is east direction with the help of my brain. Automatically error signal is created. My hand muscles will control the steering. I can move according to desired direction. In this way, direction will be controlled in the car. This is closed loop control system which is automatically happening. Now I can draw the general block diagram of closed loop control system. The reference direction is nothing but reference input. This is error detector. My brain or mind is error detector. It will give error signal here. This will be the controller, and the steering and car, all this comes under system, and desired direction will be the output, that is desired output, and this is sensor which is also called as feed. Reference input is positive, feedback is negative. This is the block diagram of closed loop control system. Okay, I hope everybody understand. Now open loop block diagram. BD means block diagram. Reference input, controller, system, desired output. Reference input mathematically represented by R of t, desired output mathematically represented by C of t. Controller and system internally present between input and output use useful parameters to get the desired output. Therefore, the internal parameters combined together in between input and output is called as gain of the system. Dear friends, in signals and systems, maybe you studied, in time domain, two signals can't be multiplied or two signals can't be divided in case of time domain, because both signals are varying with respect to time at different level. But in case of Laplace domain, we can multiply two signals or we can divide two signals very easily, because both are working under constant frequency, right? That is the reason why I am converting this time domain signal into Laplace domain. Now R of t, Laplace of R of t is R of s. The gain, internal gain, I am representing it is G of s, and output I am representing as C of s. This is the block diagram of a open loop control system, where R of s is reference input to the system, C of s controlled output of the system or desired output of the system, where G of s is nothing but forward path gain of the system. Okay, please remember all these things. Now go for closed loop control system block diagram. It is reference input. This is error detector. Input is always positive. Error detector will give error signal by comparing with input. And this is controller. Controller will give control signal to the system. It will give desired output, and there is a sensor which is called feedback. Feedback is always negative. We are designing negative feedback. If we want to design positive feedback system, for that you require more information, right? Generally scientists are designing positive feedback and they are checking the results in their labs, right? Anyhow, reference input, just now I explained, it is R of t. Controller and system, everything I am representing as gain, forward path gain. It is feedback path gain, and this is error signal, and desired output is represented by C of t. Directly I am converting into S domain. Laplace of R of t is R of s, and this is error signal represented by E of S, gain of the system is represented by G of S, output of the system is represented by C of S, feedback path is represented by H of S. This is the closed loop control system block diagram. What is R of S? Reference input, and E of S error signal, G of S forward path gain, C of S desired output or control output, H of S is the feedback path gain. Okay, now we understand very clearly. We are interested more to design about closed loop system than open loop system because its results are more accurate compared to open loop system. But what is the problem in closed loop system? Stability is the main problem. That's why from now onwards you have understand the aim of control system is to design a closed loop control system. In that problem is stability. Therefore, we will focus more on stability of a closed loop control system. For that, first I am introducing the mathematical concept called transfer function. It is reference input R of S. It is forward path gain G of S. Desired output C. It is open loop system. Dear friends, what is transfer function? It is a mathematical approach to explain about this physical system. To understand physics, compulsory mathematics is required. What it is called? Actually, it is engineering definition. Definition of engineering is applying mathematics in order to understand the physical system is what exactly is called engineering. Right now, I am going, as it is engineering subject, I am introducing mathematics to understand this physical control system. That is nothing but transfer function. Transfer function is nothing but mathematical approach to explain the system physical behavior. It is defined as the ratio of Laplace of output. Output is represented by C of t to the Laplace of input, that is R of t, by assuming initial conditions are 0, right? Then only this definition is valid. If you did not mention initial conditions are 0, that is transients are 0, if you did not mention, definition is invalid. Therefore, while defining any definition, please first follow the condition, then only that definition is valid, otherwise it is invalid. Once again I am repeating, by assuming initial conditions are 0, it is the ratio of Laplace of output to the Laplace of input, right? Now Laplace of C of t is C of s, Laplace of R of t is R of s, by assuming initial conditions are 0. Dear friends, control system basically present for mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, electrical engineers, ECE, all the people in IITs. But as I am explaining only with respect to electrical students, electronic students, and instrumentation students, these three students are following three parameters. One is resistance, other is inductance, third is capacitance. About this, you may studied already in case of network analysis. As these three elements I am using to design the control system, therefore, the initial conditions in our explanation is due to inductance and capacitance. It is very simple, friends. Resistor is allowing sudden change in voltage. Resistor is allowing sudden change in current. Therefore, it is not a transient element. It is steady state element like a brother in the home. Inductor is allowing sudden change in voltage, but it is not allowing sudden change in current. Therefore, it is a transient element. Capacitor is allowing sudden change in current, but not allowing sudden change in voltage. It is also transient element. Like two sisters in a home. Like voltage is a mother in the home, current is like a father in the home, resistor is like a son in the home, inductor and capacitors are like a daughters in the home. For only for simple understanding, not to insult anybody. Why voltage source is mother? In the circuit, that is resistance, inductance, capacitance, all are connected across a voltage source. Let's say this is voltage source. Current is flowing from high potential to the low potential. This is a closed loop path, like a our home. Our home is closed, like circuit also closed. Circuit and home both are same. In the home, mother is cooking the food. In the circuit, voltage is giving energy. Both are synonyms. In the home, father is doing hard work. In the circuit, current is doing hard work. That is continuously circulating. Therefore, current and father both are same. In the home, sun is a steady state element. In the circuit, resistor is a steady state element. In the home, both the daughters are transient elements, like in the circuit, inductor and capacitor are transient elements. Resistor doesn't allow sudden change in voltage. Sorry, resistor is allowing change in voltage, change in current. Reason, it is not storing internally anything. Similarly, sun is not keeping anything inside of the brain. Even mother is rising, father is rising. So resistor also same character in the circuit. Therefore, resistor is nothing but sun. Inductor and capacitor. Daughters are very close. Most of the daughters are very close to their fathers. If father is suddenly shouting, the daughter is not accepting. Therefore, inductor is not accepting current like a father behave like a father in the home. Some systems, capacitor does not allow sudden change in voltage. Like in some homes, daughters are loving mother. Maybe they are not allowing sudden change in character in the mother. Like we have understand all these basics, right? Now, sudden changes in current is not accepted by sudden change in current is not accepted by inductor. Sudden change in voltage is not accepted by capacitor, as these two are transient behavior. These are nothing but initial conditions in a circuit. That is the reason why I said initial conditions are zero. These assumptions are not there. Then only we can define the transfer function. Okay. Generally, in interview, friends, questions are common. In how many ways we can approach the mathematical analysis and control system? Two ways. One is transfer function approach. Second is state model approach. The state model approach we can discuss in last topic. Up to that we are having transfer function. What are the transfer function advantages and what is the transfer function disadvantage? Transfer function is applicable only for LTI systems. It is not applicable for time variant systems and also nonlinear systems. It is applicable only linear time invariant system. Later we'll discuss at state model in depth. And transfer function is applicable only for single input and single output. And disadvantage is it is not applicable for multiple input and multiple output of the system. But advantage is it can relate the input and output very easily. It can relate input and output very easily, and directly it will give transfer function, right? These are the things you have to remember when you go for interview. You can give answers very easily. Now, dear friends, how to represent transfer function in a control system mathematically? The transfer function is represented in a control system mathematically as k into 1 plus STA into 1 plus STB and so on in numerator upon s power n into 1 plus st1 into 1 plus st2 and so on, where k is called as gain factor in the control system and remaining terms 1 plus sta, 1 plus stb, all these things in the numerator is called as zeros in a control system, and denominator all the terms is called as poles of a control system. Why the name poles and why the name zeros we will understand right now. Okay. Suppose, dear friends, let us take numerator one expression, that is 1 plus sta. In order to locate this one, this 0, I am equating this expression to 0. From this, sta equal to minus 1, s is equal to minus 1 by t. I said this is 0 because this is a numerator term, that's why I given the name as 0. Why it is 0 we will discuss right now. S is right now 0. 0 is defined as negative of inverse of time constant. This TA is time constant. 1 by TA. That is the reason why it is inverse of time constant. This S is called 0. I am defining this 0. 0 is defined as inverse of, sorry, negative of inverse of time constant at which the magnitude of transfer function becomes 0. Why it is so? We will discuss here. If you apply in place of S as minus 1 by TA, this TA and TA is cancelling. 1 minus 1, it is 0. Whenever this value becomes 0, the complete value 0 multiplied by something will be 0. Therefore, the magnitude of transfer function becomes 0. That's why the numerator expressions are called 0. Similarly, this one, 1 plus STB equal to 0, STB equal to minus 1, S is equal to minus 1 by TB. Same definition, this is also 0. 0 is defined as negative of inverse of time constant. If you apply here, this value becomes 0, therefore transfer function becomes 0. That's why numerator, whatever expression is there, that is completely called as zeros. Now coming to poles, denominator is called poles. Let's take first one, 1 plus st1 equal to 0, s is equal to minus 1 by ta. This is called as pole. This s is called as pole. Pole also defined as negative of inverse of time constant, negative of inverse of time constant at which magnitude of transfer function become infinity. Now substitute here, it is minus 1 by t1, t1 cancel out, 1 minus 1, 0. Whenever this value becomes 0, complete denominator value 0, anything by 0, the transfer function value become infinity. Therefore, pole is defined as negative of inverse of time constant at which magnitude of transfer function become infinity, right? So that is the reason why that whenever the magnitude of transfer function become infinity, that is called as poles. Whenever the magnitude of transfer function become 0, that is called zeros. Or simply, what is the simplest shortcut is, whatever the expressions present in numerator, those are called as zeros. Whatever the expressions present in the denominator, that is called as poles. This is a direct shortcut. You can remember, it is applicable anywhere in the control system. Now, my point is, from these two discussions, one thing is giving transfer function magnitude as 0, another thing is giving transfer function magnitude as of infinity. From these two discussions, poles may affect the stability but not the 0. Why? Because when once we go for pole discussion, the magnitude of transfer function is becoming infinity but not 0. Therefore, pole may have effect on the stability. Why? Because transfer function become magnitude become infinity but not the 0. That is the reason why we are using poles to determine closed loop system stability but not zeros. Very very important point. Please remember, poles are more useful to determine stability but not zeros, because it will give infinite value. There is much analysis, but in zero there is no analysis. That's why we are using poles to determine closed loop system stability but not zeros. Okay, now we are going to discuss about transfer function with respect to network analysis. If suppose electrical circuit or network is given, how to determine transfer function? Okay, let's take first circuit. This impedance is Z1 of S. This impedance is Z2 of S. This is the circuit. For that I am applying input voltage here. I am applying, I am taking output voltage across the second impedance Z2 of S. Current is flowing from high potential to the low potential. We need to determine transfer function. The transfer function is always between output to input by assuming initial conditions are 0. Already we discussed. What is output voltage? V naught of S. What is input voltage? Vi of S. Now, in order to calculate V naught of S, this is V naught of S, I need to apply Ohm's law between this point and this point, right? That is V naught of S is equal to I of S into Z2 of S. Current flowing through this one is I of S and impedance Z2 of S. Current multiplied by impedance will give voltage across this element. Now, I need to calculate Vi of S, that is input voltage. For that I need to apply KVL for this closed loop. What is KVL? Sum of voltage in a closed path is equal to 0, or else voltage at the source is equal to voltage drop in the closed path. What is voltage drop? I of S into Z1 of S plus I of S into Z2 of S. As it is series circuit, current is same. That already you studied in network analysis. From this, Vi of S is equal to, take I of S common, it is Z1 of S plus Z2 of S. Now what is transfer function, dear friends? V naught of S value is I of S into Z2 of S upon I of S into Z1 of S plus Z2 of S. This is the transfer function. I of S cancelled. Now, if you observe here, Z2 of S is the impedance across the output. This is called output impedance. Z1 plus Z2 is the equivalent impedance in a series circuit. What is the equivalent impedance of the series circuit? Z1 plus Z2, because both elements are connected in series. Therefore, this is equivalent impedance. So for this kind of simple circuits, we can write transfer function directly with this shortcut, that is output impedance by equivalent impedance or total impedance. Okay. Now just I am interchanging impedance elements compared to previous. This is Z2 of S and this is Z1 of S. In case of Z1, I have taken Z2 here. In case of Z2, I have taken Z1. Both impedance elements are interchanged compared to previous circuit. In previous circuit, it is Z1. This is Z2. In present circuit, in place of Z1, Z2 is there. In place of Z2, Z1 is there. What is transfer function? Direct shortcut. Output impedance, that is Z1 of S, divided by total impedance or equivalent impedance, that is Z1 plus Z2 of S. That is a shortcut. Dear friends, if you see here, numerator expression I told zeros, denominator expression I said it is poles. Just now I have explained. In previous circuit also, this is called zeros and this is called poles. Here poles location is Z1 plus Z2. In present discussion also, poles location is Z1 plus Z2. That means even though the network elements are interchanged, location of poles remains same. But in this case, 0 is Z1 of S. Sorry. In previous case, 0 is Z2 of S. So 0 here is Z2 of S, and in this case 0 is Z1 of S. That means what is important statement here is, when impedance elements are interchanged, the location of poles remains same, but the location of zeros it changes. Therefore, this is also one more key point that we have to remember. Poles are remains fixed even though network elements are interchanged. Therefore, poles are considered as reference in order to determine closed loop control system stability. Okay. Now let's take some simple circuit to determine stability. Resistance R1, resistance R2, V0 of S, Vi of S. Current flowing through this I of S. What is transfer function, dear friends? Output impedance or output resistance R2 divided by equivalent resistance. What is equivalent resistance? R1 plus R2. This is the transfer function. If you observe here, what is the power of S in denominator? It is S power 0. The highest power of S in denominator is called order of the system. Right now order of the system is 0. Reason, there is no transient element. Resistor in time domain represented by R. In S domain also it is represented by R. Inductor is represented by XL. Sorry. Inductor is represented by JXL. JXL is nothing but J omega, but in control system J omega is replaced by S. Therefore, in S domain, inductor is replaced by SL. Capacitor is represented by 1 by JXC, which is nothing but 1 by J omega C. J omega is nothing but S. Therefore, capacitor in S domain is represented by 1 by S. Remember, in S domain, resistor is represented by R. S domain, inductor is represented by SL. Capacitor is represented by 1 by SC. Now, let's take simple RC circuit. Resistance, just now explained, in this S domain 1 by SC. Input is Vi of S and output will be V0 of S. What is the transfer function? I of S. See friends, just now explain output impedance. What is output impedance? while determine transfer function 1 by SC. Equivalent impedance R plus 1 by SC. The simplification 1 upon SC divided by RCS plus 1 upon SC. SC cancel out. It is 1 upon 1 plus RCS. What is the maximum power of S in denominator? 1. This is called as order 1 system. Order of the system, have you understand, depends only on transient element. There is one transient element, therefore order 1 system. In case of previous circuit, there is no transient element in this circuit. There is no inductor and capacitor, that's why order is 0. In present circuit, there is a capacitor. Because of one capacitor, order is 1. Now, just now explained, this is the time constant form, 1 plus st form. It is in the form of 1 plus st, where t is equal to r into c. This is the time constant. Maybe network analysis you studied. Time constant of RC circuit is r into c. That very clearly you understand. Let us take series RL circuit to determine transfer function. This is resistance R. This is inductance represented by SL. Output is V naught of S and input is Vi of S. We need to determine transfer function. Current flowing is I of S. What is transfer function? Output impedance, that is SL upon total impedance or equivalent impedance. What is equivalent impedance? R plus SL. Dear friends, here also maximum power of S in denominator of transfer function is 1. Therefore, it is also order 1 system. Reason, one transient element is present, that is inductor in the circuit. Okay. Now, it is not 1 plus st form, therefore take common as r. Once you take common, it is r. It is can be written as 1 plus s into L by r. Now it is 1 plus st form, where time constant of LC circuit, RL circuit is L by r. L by r seconds, RC seconds. This is the time constant of first order series circuit of RL circuit. This is the time constant of RC circuit for first order. Okay. In this way, we can determine transfer function of simple circuits. Okay, dear friends, tomorrow we will explain for difficult circuit how to explain transfer function. Okay, thank you.